compressor or just a air handler. You have to do both. They have to be paired. On fluorescence, and my knowledge base is rather dated, I should say, but unless something is dramatically changed in an old light fixture cavity, until you get around to a big remodel on a room like this, you can merely swap out the ballast and pull the fluorescent tubes and put an LED tube in. We did that in 125 stores. So there's perhaps an opportunity. Wiring, wiring costs is a wild card. And what I'm coming to is the suggestion that in the specific instances where you said, gee, it's 13% of what they suggested. I think in total, I did quick math, it was kind of 7.5% of their number, that perhaps you just take the approach of, if REG says that it's going to be 20 million, we can take a pragmatic value orientation of this and get it done for X percent. It's easily understandable by folks, and it's reasonable and achievable. So if they're saying 20 million, 10% would be $2 million. I'll use building 5, which I personally have the highest level of intimacy in, by virtue of the historical society being in there. And then in anticipation of, hopefully one day being housed there again, as I've gone through it in my head, as I've actually done preliminary conversations with people who do build for a living, who do remodel for a living, whatever, I have every confidence that that building can be made not only usable, but taking it a step further and made really, really nice for about $250,000. So that, and I think it was 4 million, right? It's ludicrous, frankly. But again, you can't blame REG for taking just a gross per square foot approach. That's the way it's done. So 250 versus 4 million, my gosh, how am I can't even do the numbers? It's down well below 10%. So, but final comment. If this does move forward in REG, there's conversation on the design phase and that kind of thing, I'd suggest that it's critically important that the members of the BRC have a very, very involved role in communicating with REG and giving them specific direction. Because I suspect that one of the reasons that we're trying at the last minute to, this needs to be changed, is there was no specific direction.
That's true.
Let's say what it is.
Yeah.
The previous city manager was completely disengaged from this. He was shuffling papers. There was no direction, and that's why we find ourselves in the position that we're in. Thank you.
Thank you.
A question about lighting. If the lighting that's there is fluorescent light, why do they have to be replaced if they're still working?
Replacement of the tubes.
Yeah. But when the time comes and they burn out, then I can see replacing them with a new standard. But if they're working currently, you're gonna take out stuff that's working well and replace it?
Well,
If it ain't broke, don't fix it?
it will, they will no longer be available as of January 1st.
I understand that, but what's here, these are working fine right now, so you're gonna go and pull out these lights and put in new ones just because?
No, it'd be something that needs to be done in the future.
Right, so it could be an ongoing project instead of a mass.
Yeah, you probably would wanna upgrade them all at the same time though. You wouldn't wanna you can't just do one light at a time, it's kind of.
But you do one room at a time.
Yes, and the energy efficiency, well, again, having been through this many, many times, the increased energy efficiency will pay for conversion of existing fixtures, and it's not prohibitively expensive.
Is that recognized? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Lisa DeVito again, 1 South Main Street. This is what you call a complex task, and we've talked about this before, that the city has charged you with. As you know, I'm on the city commission. I will be one of the people receiving the REG explanation of their report. Commissioner Lori and I both serve together, so I'm going to try to confine myself right now to questions that I feel need to be answered and a few observations. First of all, and I was going to ask the new city manager this, but I am trying to identify which is the actual final report that REG will be reviewing. In our commission packet, there was just an email with a link. So, and I get what is the date of the final report?
It is dated June 2nd. It'll say on the very front page, June 2nd.
Okay,
So, but you, yeah,
and is that different than,
yes, it is.
okay, so I don't have that.
I'm sending it to the clerk to have them send it out.
Right, but I need to have that printed, and I don't have it, so I'm not 100% sure what we're talking about. I'm going off the figures that I looked at from the last. I think there was a draft report in March, and there was another report in May,
Yes.
and that is what was, I'm pointing here because REG was present by Zoom, and it was 2 meetings ago that I came. The last meeting I was out of town. When REG presented to the Blue Ribbon Commission, I was very frustrated because they had recommended to us, we being the city, that we apply for the Florida Division of Historical Resources Special Categories Grant, which could be funding up to $1 million, and some match is required. And at the commission, we had discussed that we would need some guidance from them as to what specifically in that huge analysis of 5 buildings would be a reasonable thing to ask for. And it was my understanding that they were going to do that. And part of my purpose in being at the Blue Ribbon Committee meeting when REG presented was to ask that question of them, and I didn't. I said, what specifically could we ask for in grant? Because in my opinion, and apparently so, it was beyond any of our capabilities to review all those pages and come up with a definable object for a grant application. And we did not get that from them, and as well, the application was, it's complicated. I think Commissioner Lori spent some time reviewing it, and our interim city manager did. So, but that brings me back to the point that John has been addressing, the difference between the square footage estimates that BRC gave, and I think Danny Miller touched on this. It's my observation that, to me, it appears that what REG has presented, just as they did when the city contracted with them they presented a complete analysis for complete adaptive reuse, complete.